Welcome back to the Calabash Diaries, where Africa's hidden stories come alive. Today, we open the calabash to uncover the powerful Iron Age Shona people, master builders, traders, and guardians of one of Africa's greatest archaeological mysteries, Great Zimbabwe. This is a story of stone and spirit, of gold and trade, of kings and ancestors. A story shaped by oral traditions, preserved in ruins, and scarred by colonial lies. Journey with us as we travel into the heart of southern Africa to meet the Shona people, their empire, and their legacy. Their story begins over 1,000 years ago. The Shona, Bantu-speaking people, migrated into southern Africa during the Iron Age. They brought with them iron-smelting skills, farming techniques, and a culture deeply rooted in the worship of ancestors and the spirits of the land. Villages rose along rivers and fertile plains. Hunters, farmers, and ironworkers lived side by side. Iron tools made farming easier. Spears and arrows gave hunters new power. But the Shona were not just farmers. They were builders. They carved their lives into the land, laying the foundation for what would one day become an empire. Oral traditions tell of the earliest chiefs, men chosen not only for strength, but for their closeness to the spirit world. Among the Shona, leadership was sacred. Kings ruled not for themselves but as custodians of the ancestors' will. By the 11th century, something extraordinary was happening. The Shona began building in stone, massive walls, towering enclosures, and intricate passageways. The greatest of these creations was Great Zimbabwe, the capital of a powerful trading state. No mortar was used, yet the walls still stand. Stones carefully shaped, stacked, and interlocked. An engineering marvel of the ancient world. The great enclosure, with its soaring 36-foot-high walls, still sparks awe today. Within it lay the houses of elites, sacred shrines, and the famous conical tower, its purpose still debated, but believed to symbolize the power of kingship and fertility. Archaeologists call it a city. The Shona call it home. To them, the stones were alive, linked to the spirits of ancestors, and the king, the Mambo, was the guardian of both people and land. Great Zimbabwe was not isolated. It was a kingdom plugged into the world. Gold and ivory flowed from Shona mines and elephant plains into the city. From there, traders carried them east to the Indian Ocean coast. In towns like Sofala and Kilwa, Arab, Swahili, and Indian merchants traded glass beads, Chinese porcelain, and fine cloth in return. Archaeologists have uncovered shards of Persian bowls, Chinese Ming porcelain, and Arabian glass deep in the ruins of Great Zimbabwe. Each artifact whispers of a global network where Shona wealth glittered at its center. The kingdom thrived. At its height, Great Zimbabwe housed perhaps 20,000 people, its economy fueled by farming, cattle, and trade. But wealth brought power, and with power came rivalries. In Shona oral tradition, kingship was sacred. The Mambo was more than a ruler, he was a priest-king. The Shona believed that ancestors walked beside the living, spirits known as Mondoro, lion spirits, guided kings. The king's role was to ensure harmony between the people, the land, and the ancestors. If he failed, drought, famine, or war could follow. Rituals at sacred hills and shrines maintained the bond. The Zimbabwe birds, carved from soapstone and found in the ruins, symbolized this power. Part eagle, part human, they were guardians of kingship and ancestors. Through stories passed from mouth to mouth, the Shona preserved the memory of rulers and their deeds. Even when written history ignored them, their voices lived on. For centuries, the ruins of Great Zimbabwe stood silent, abandoned, but never forgotten. Local people remembered its kings. But when European explorers arrived in the 19th century, They could not believe that Africans had built such grandeur. Colonial writers spread myths, claiming Great Zimbabwe was built by outsiders, by Phoenicians, Arabs, even the Queen of Sheba, anything but the Shona. These lies served a purpose: to deny African achievement and justify colonial rule. But archaeology proved the truth. Excavations uncovered iron tools, pottery, and trade goods linked directly to Shona culture. Radiocarbon dating placed the construction firmly in the hands of the ancestors of today's Shona people. The stones spoke, and their voice was African. By the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe began to decline. Soil exhaustion, shifting trade routes, and political tensions weakened the city. The capital moved northward, giving rise to new Shona states such as the Mutapa Empire, which carried on the legacy of trade and kingship. But centuries later, colonialism arrived with force. Land was seized, culture was undermined, and the Shona people were forced into systems that erased their history. Yet, the ruins of Great Zimbabwe remained, silent witnesses to a civilization that could not be erased. Today, the descendants of the builders of Great Zimbabwe still walk the land. The Shona people remain one of Africa's largest ethnic groups, their culture rich with music, sculpture, and ancestral traditions. The ruins of Great Zimbabwe are now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized not as the work of foreigners, but as a testament to African genius. From the clang of the first iron forge to the echo of trade across oceans, from the whispered voices of ancestors to the towering stone walls, the story of the Shona endures. This was the Iron Age Empire of the Shona, Africa's builders of stone, guardians of spirit, and masters of trade. Thank you for opening the calabash with us today. What amazed you most about the Shona people? Was it the mystery of Great Zimbabwe, the global trade connections, or the power of oral tradition? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Calabash Diaries, where Africa's past is power